There's a passion that ignites us, driven by pride, daring, and the desire to excel, fueled by the high-octane love of owners, drivers, and car lovers everywhere. It's a calling for every man and woman to enjoy and live this lifestyle now. Welcome to Cars and Coffee Exposed.
So Andy, this looks like a 69 GT40, but it's not.
It's not.
Okay, so tell me what it is.
It's actually built in 2023. It's a Golf livery tribute edition to the 1969 GT40. And it's built in South Africa by a company under the license of Shelby. So it's built by Superperformance, and Superperformance is the only company in the world that actually builds Shelby licensed cars. They build Cobras, they build GT40s. And so this car is actually in the GT40 registry as an official successor of the 69 GT40.
So I think there's a lot of viewers that really don't know how that process works. How does that work? And why this car? You decided you wanted this car, and then what happened after that? What was the process?
Well, like a lot of people, I watched Ford versus Ferrari, where we won. And after that, I was really looking into getting a edition of the GT40. There's quite a few manufacturers that build these cars. You can also build one at home, but there's only one manufacturer that goes 90% close to the original, and that was my goal. So you order something from Superperformance, you get a build slot, and it takes about 2 years.
Right, so it actually takes you 2 years to just get on the
docket.
That is so interesting. And then you get on the docket, and then how long?
They build about 12 cars a year. Yeah, you wait about 2 years, and then they start building. And then it takes another 6 months to 7 months before you get the car delivered.
Wow.
So it takes quite a while. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, were you just...
Oh.
You were so anxious, ready to have it, yeah?
I was
How many times did you visit?
I actually visited South Africa in the factory. I was invited, and I talked to the owner, and I saw this car being built. I licked the handle in South Africa. I saw the car being built.
Yeah.
It's all hand-built, so there's no parts that they buy except for the lights.
Right.
But everything else is hand-built, hand-manufactured with the original tooling of Shelby.
It seems like the best of both worlds, where it looks like a 69, but it drives like a 23.
No.
Okay, tell me how it
I
drives.
wish. No, the only upgrade I did was air conditioning, but it actually drives like a 69 because it has the original chassis.
Interesting. So did you have to learn how to drive it? Did you take it on the
No.
track out there? Or?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I got it like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
Really? So
Yeah,
you've only
so
had
it's
it 4
brand new
weeks?
to me, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm taking it to the track probably next week.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. Is that a little bit scary?
It is. Yeah.
You've waited 4 years for this car. I bet.
But
I
it's
bet.
meant to drive on the track.
Yeah, that's what you bought
sure.
it for.
Yeah.
What else do you have in your collection besides this one?
I have a Lamborghini Countach, Lamborghini STO, Porsche, Ferrari 812.
So
a couple of cars.
You've always been a car guy? This has always been your thing?
It started a few years ago. It started with one car, and it just escalated when I moved to Scottsdale.
Okay.
As you see, Scottsdale is the
see.
pinnacle of car
I'm telling you.
enthusiast, and there's cars everywhere. So
Beautiful. We've seen some beautiful cars today, but this is definitely my top 3.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time with us. Charlie, thank you so much for bringing not one, but 2 things of beauty here today.
Yes.
Talia, your beautiful girlfriend. And this car, of course, 2018 GTR.
Yes.
It's a beauty.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the mods, because immediately that's where my eye went to. This spoiler, this body kit, tell us all about it.
So it is a R package, so wider body, carbon fenders, which is standard, carbon drive shaft, So a little bit more progressive than the regular S model. And then Carbon Air did the package, and it's the only one in the US that has a Carbon Air wide body package on an R car. And then we brought to Dyno Comp, which is in Scottsdale. And Rich, he's done probably 6+ cars of mine. We did a 750 horsepower package on it. So now it sounds and is as fast as it looks. So it definitely makes some pops, bangs, and flames, and we want that. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So did you name the vehicle?
So I'm not a name guy. I have
Okay.
bikes, cars, and everything, and I don't name. But
Talia, did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hans.
Hans. Tell me why Hans?
No, we looked it up. It's a good name.
Look like a Hans?
Yeah.
Talia, when you drive a car like this, what is it about? Is it about the speed, the performance? Is it about the sexiness of it? What makes you love a car like this so much?
I mean, it's so rare. You could drive that thing for 30 seconds and you're just high on life. You know, you cannot have a bad day. Charlie, if he is busy at work and, you know, as soon as he jumps in his car, he never comes home mad.
I always come home with a grin.
Hey, yes.
He's very happy, like a little kid.
Did you know you always wanted this car, or how did you get it?
So I was looking for another daily, and I was considering the Porsche GT3 RS, but tons of my friends have it. And after driving an R, I'm like, that's the car for a daily. It's just a little bit more luxury inside and not as raw.
Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers about the car that you love?
For us, it's more a passion. We do a lot of club drives. We're a member at Apex Motor Club, so we love going to the track and tracking our cars. And that's what it's all about for us, Street.
It's all about having fun.
It's all about
great
having
time.
Fun. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Pleasure.
Charlie.
Yes, thank you.
Talia, you're gorgeous. You make him look good.
Yes.
You make this car look good.
Yes.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you, our pleasure.
We'll be right back with more Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Promotional consideration provided by...
What is Urable? We are a business management system that helps create an exceptional customer experience and improves business operations. As a car enthusiast, you deserve the best, and Urable is the common denominator. With so many detail shops, endless brands of ceramic coatings, window tint, and paint protection film, it's hard to find the right shop for the job. Shops powered by Urable understand the care and quality that your investment requires. Avoid shops that are in the race to the bottom. If you want to identify the best providers in your area, make sure they're powered by Urable.
Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled ride with Cars and Coffee Exposed. It's not just a show, it's a whole new automotive experience. Now's the time to claim your spot as a brand partner for the electrifying 2024 season. Partner with us to inject your brand into our high-octane episodes and connect with car enthusiasts live at Cars and Coffee events nationwide. Rev up your marketing strategy today. Contact carsandcoffeeexposed.com and let's accelerate together.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee Exposed. Meet Jordan Sawalka. This successful entrepreneur started his own repossession business nearly 20 years ago. Around the same time, he started collecting cars. Now he's put together an enviable collection of beauties, most of them dressed in black. We caught up with Jordan at his automotive man cave somewhere in Scottsdale.
We're here with Jordan Sawalka, who has invited us to view his beautiful car collection. Thank you so much, Jordan, for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
How many cars do you have here?
About 20, give or take, whatever the day of the week is. We have a couple of HKS demo cars here, several Porsches like strewn throughout the building. The Aventador SVJ is over there, and then one of my like big loves is like Chrysler product, like Mopar stuff. So we got like 3 or 4 Mopars on the racks and old '56 Chevy.
You decided to start collecting cars. Why?
Well, I mean, because I have the room to do it now. So in the beginning, I wasn't able to collect anything. I just would buy something and then trade it in. And then we bought this warehouse, and when you have room, you start to fill it up. So this is really spiraled out of control. So, for lack of a better
It's pretty
term.
out of control,
Yeah,
but in
it
like
is.
the best way possible.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
You started in the automotive world. How?
Just from childhood, first Hot Wheels. That 50 cents is like the most expensive addiction that we'll ever create like later in life. So yeah, then started a tow company and just started like buying stuff that I loved when I was a kid and I couldn't afford.
Throughout your collection, you have different cars for different experiences. Tell us about some of the other cars in your collection and kind of how you acquired them.
I like everything, and I think when people get into like maybe even collecting cars, they start to maybe only go after like what's expensive, and I think that just kind of sucks. I think that there are so many cool cars for different reasons, and the Dodge Neon SRT4, it's a Dodge Neon, it was $17,000 brand new. That's one of the most important cars in here, because I just love that car so much. So if you get outside of being obsessed with price or status, there are some really, really cool cars that you can drive and own, and they're very obtainable, and I've just always loved that about cars. There's just something different for every day of the week.
What sparked your love of cars?
My neighbor Ray was an old hot rodder, and he had a 1956 Chevy, just like the one that's up there, and he had all black cars. So he always told me that you can tell if people take care of their car, but you can really tell if people take care of their car when they're black. And he was a retired FDNY, and I rode my bike home every day from school, and I'd go to his house for like 2 hours and watch him restore his cars, his old 56. And the cool part about that car back there is that it has the same exact engine that was in his car. So it's a 427 big block, and he sold it to me about 4 years ago when we restored that car. So the dream car that I had when I was a kid, I'm so fortunate enough to have the engine out of it, and it's just one of the coolest things in here to me.
You built a business, you work so hard as business owners do, and you finally get that one car that you're like, I've made it, I'm buying this car.
Yeah.
So what's that car?
It's an Aventador SVJ. I always loved vertical door Lamborghinis. When I was a kid, the Diablo and the Countach was the poster car in my room.
What's so special about this car?
There's a lot of things, but it's just such an extreme Lamborghini, and it was the last flagship model like Lamborghini, the SVJ, before we start to move into more of a hybrid future. I think it's really cool that it's just the last super, super raw Lamborghini.
So I'm super excited because I hear we're going for a ride.
We are. We'll take the SVJ out today.
Can we do that right now?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, let's go. So many supercars in one place ever in my life. I've been in a lot of cities. I mean, I'm sure I'd probably see that in Monte Carlo, but I mean, it's just really, people seem to be very comfortable.
It's pretty safe, pretty chill.
Yeah.
You know, for now, I hope it stays that way, but I love it out here, man. I've been here my whole life.
You said it's your first Lambo.
First V12, like the first door up Lambo.
Yeah, and you think this is the last of the V12s, huh?
It is. So the new Revolto is, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Pardon me, Lamborghini. Okay. Pardon me, Lamborghini gods. It's going to be a V12 hybrid assist. But this is going to be this is the last naturally aspirated wild Lamborghini that they built. So this is an SVJ, and that was the highest trim level at the time for this car. So yeah, this is kind of the last of them all.
This is what you wanted. You always wanted this car.
So when I was a kid, I think like we all, like in my case with my age, the Countach and the Diablo were the cars on the wall, the poster cars. You know, the vertical door Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And those were awesome cars, but obviously they're out of production. So at this point, I was able to get this at like this age in my life.
Yeah.
And I think this is gnarly.
I mean, I do a lot of interiors, so I was just noticing all the details and the Alcantara.
Thank you so much.
Carbon fiber, of course, all that's to make it light and fast.
It is.
How fast is it?
So this car, like max top speed is about 210 miles an hour. Yeah, boogies.
I feel like my balls just dropped. Oh my God.
You know, the cool thing about this car is these Lamborghinis, these V12 cars, were never great handling cars. But this car is this was the fastest production car around Nürburgring for a couple of years. So I think they finally were like, hey, they look so exotic, they look like art, well, let's make them really as fast on the track as it looks, right? So that's what's really cool about this car.
Yeah, combination of beauty and beast.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So how fast have you gotten it up to?
This car probably like 180. We went to Roebling Raceway, and we were about 176 and almost 180 on the back straight. It's a really long straight. So it was really cool, super stable. It was awesome. This car has active aerodynamics. So essentially what happens is it will start to like bleed air after a certain speed to pull it under the car to increase stability. So there's all sorts of like different aerodynamic components that are like at play to keep the car stable at speed. It has four-wheel steering. So below 88 miles an hour, the wheels turn like this to help bring the back of the car around. But after 88 miles an hour, they turn like this to keep the car stable in high-speed maneuvering. So it's like there's a lot of really cool things. It's crazy. It's crazy how far it's come. It makes you look like a really good driver, you know? I think I was pretty equipped to handle it when I got it. So I would say that I didn't have to learn anything, but this car taught me a lot about respecting power, and the margin for error is really slim in this car, you know? It's big, it's a V12, and if you're not careful, it'll teach you a lesson at the track.
How many of these did they make?
They made 900 SVJ coupes worldwide. I don't know, I always liked the underdog. And I that's why I like Lamborghini so much, is it was the underdog. Ferrari was always the pinnacle brand, and you know, Ferruccio Lamborghini was, I think he was the underdog, right? I've always noticed that when I deal with Lamborghini owners, they're really approachable. And it seems like even some of them themselves are maybe more blue collar, and this was like their dream car. And I've always loved that about the brand.
These cars are so fun to drive because they are engaging, and I think that's what a lot of like newer cars lack, is that engagement.
I think that as cars get watered down, like kids today will never experience like oversteer situation or keeping a car stable. Not only does it make you a good driver, it keeps you engaged in the car. And I think that that's probably the sad part about maybe like where automotive is going today. And I understand like that's progress, and thank goodness these cars are still around and they're still being taken care of. So I think you'll be able to find them, but the engagement's everything.
So I feel like you're definitely in the right place for car love, because I've seen more supercars and exotics here than I have, I think, in any other city I've been in, just driving on the street. So Scottsdale seems to be kind of a capital for that.
There was like 4 or 5 F40s that were at Cars and Coffee. So it's just insane to think that those are here residing in collections. But yeah, Scottsdale, Phoenix area, the Arizona car culture, it's really important. It's part of our foundation.
I'm so glad we got a chance to see it, because it was really unique. And it's always good to see people bringing their kids out and being able to really get close to these cars, because that's just going to continue to ignite that love like you talked about with the community.
I think no matter like the difference with anybody, I think cars are a common denominator. And even if you can't get along about anything else, if you like cars, it's really easy to carry a conversation with someone for a few hours, and I don't know, it's like a peaceful feeling.
We'll be right back with more Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Promotional consideration provided by...
What is Urable? We are a business management system that helps create an exceptional customer experience and improves business operations. As a car enthusiast, you deserve the best, and Urable is the common denominator. With so many detail shops, endless brands of ceramic coatings, window tint, and paint protection film, it's hard to find the right shop for the job. Shops powered by Urable understand the care and quality that your investment requires. Avoid shops that are in the race to the bottom. If you want to identify the best providers in your area, make sure they're powered by Urable.
Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled ride with Cars and Coffee Exposed. It's not just a show, it's a whole new automotive experience. Now's the time to claim your spot as a brand partner for the electrifying 2024 season. Partner with us to inject your brand into our high-octane episodes and connect with car enthusiasts live at Cars and Coffee events nationwide. Rev up your marketing strategy today. Contact carsandcoffeeexposed.com and let's accelerate together.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee Exposed. John, there is one word to describe this car behind me, and it is sexy.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Tell me why this car?
So I wanted a 720 when it first came out. I always wanted the 720. And anytime I've purchased a car, I always wanted to make it a little bit different. And I've always had a dream when my son was born to always build a car with him. We were going to do a kit car. And then a good friend of mine, Peter, from 1016, had just designed this wide body kit. And my son and I started doing it over at the shop.
I own an auto customization shop, so we're kind of like in the same. And when I saw this in this kit, I just went berserk because it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I rent out spaces to different professionals in the industry. We have wrap people there. We have people we have technicians there. We have detailers there. So it's a one-stop shop, and it works out really, really well because when you own your own company, when you own your own business, you take a lot more pride.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think the Valley's only car incubator in town.
So you mentioned your sons earlier, so they're in the car business as well?
My oldest is, my youngest, kind of in the car business. He's more on the business side, and he runs the ceramic coating division.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes and makes sure that the guys get a good ceramic coat on the car.
Are they using your Able?
Yeah.
That's great. That's our partner. We love them. Is this a daily driver?
It's not a daily, but I
Okay.
love to drive my cars. It's got 20,000 miles on it. And if it ever is in the shop, it's just because I'm doing stuff to it. Mechanically, we did a Gintani tune, so it's a full stage 3. We did the bigger turbos from Pure. We did the custom exhaust, titanium, and we did a 3-phase tune on it. So we have the normal gas, and we can go up to race gas. And so with the different phases, then I can take it out to the track, and I've got a different tune. I can put different.
So you do take it out on the track.
I have taken it on the track.
And what have you got her up to?
I think on the straight, maybe 160, maybe. I'm not a big daredevil, so as soon as I get to that, I brake a little earlier than I should.
I wouldn't either be with this car.
But maybe, I think 160 was where I got on the straight.
Does she have a name?
Nebula.
Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula is her name. She looked like a spaceship when I finished her, so Nebula.
She does.
Nebula is what I called it.
John, thank you so much for introducing us to Nebula. What a beautiful car. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Success
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Dana, this car is more than a car. I look at it and I just think it's class personified. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I love the story behind it. So you were brought home from the hospital in this car.
Yeah, my dad bought it in '62. It's probably a year's worth of his salary. And in 1966, when I was born, my parents drove me home from the hospital, my mother in the passenger seat. The story goes he drove about 8 miles an hour all the way home with a long line of cars because he was so afraid.
Yes.
And my mother was like, he's not gonna brake, Jerry. He's like, ah. And he was just so nervous.
What a great story and a great legacy. So your dad was a car guy, obviously had amazing taste in cars. And it looks, Dana, like a lot of love and care was spent in keeping this car beautiful. Did you do any updates to it, or did you really want to just stay classic?
When I got the car, my dad passed in 2013. And he did a full body off restoration in 95, 96, took out the original 327. And so I started the journey of being true to the car and putting it back to all original, numbers matching. And the only thing I've changed is the paint job. So the lacquer finish would have been the original way to do it. So I did a high gloss clear coat to make sure that it looks sexy and it stays like that.
It's so sexy and classy and just beautiful. You mentioned earlier about it doesn't take curves well, but it's a nice cruiser. Is it a weekly driver, a daily driver?
Not a daily driver. I mean, I could, but
I
it's
imagine
mostly, you know, going for coffee, doing things like this, showing it off, and it's just fun, you know, having my sexy wife with me in the passenger side.
Or
Audrey, my granddaughter, or my kids, you know, we go cruising.
Sure. You take your mom for a spin every now and then?
She lives in Boston, and she hasn't seen it since it's been redone, and so we went out and cruised around. And she told me stories. I'm like, okay, tell me some stories. We would race, we would never lose, and I would be waving to the people like, bye. And my dad would be like, Bonnie, stop. You know, it's like we haven't won
she like
yet.
to dig in the knife a little bit. Yeah, I love it.
it.
You You did such a great job. It looks amazing, and congratulations. It's going to be one that'll be in your family, I'm sure, for years to come. Thank you for sharing it with us, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chelsea.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Appreciate it.
Dana. Thank you. Corey, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
I am so excited to talk about this beauty behind us. It's a rat rod. So tell us a little bit about just the rat rod culture.
I've always been in love with these types of rats, things of that nature. I built the car, found it in Caddo, Oklahoma, off Craigslist of all places. And I always wanted a patina car because I had had nice cars prior, all American steel.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep the classic look, but yet the resto mod and a ton of power.
It's gorgeous. So yeah, talk about the power.
So the car is actually a 5.3 LS1. I bought a Suburban off of Craigslist, and I ditched the entire body of the Suburban, kept the power plant, and sold everything else. And then we put some 66mm turbos on it. Runs a 4L80 transmission that's built with a stage 2 shift kit, Ford 9-inch rear end with 3/7 gears, and I'm tuned at 6 pounds of boost on a real mild tune, and I'm getting 600 at the rear.
I love this because there's so many cars that people don't really get to enjoy, but it sounds like you get to enjoy this one.
This one's the most fun going up the highway.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit second gear, it kicks loose and it's smoke. Quarter mile behind you, getting on the
I love
highway.
it. You have this love of cars, and where did it come from?
I had a couple cars prior to this, and I used to dream when I was in college about twin turbo builds. I thought it was the coolest thing, and I could never afford it to pay somebody to do it, so I had to do it myself. So I've been dreaming of this car since I was 20 years old, and 39 now. So
Wow, congratulations.
19 years to come to fruition, and
I love it.
there's more in the future.
Is this your first build, or have you done other cars before?
I had done other cars
Okay.
previously, just a few.
Okay.
But this was the first one that I knew I wanted to keep, so it had to be cherry.
How long did it take you?
Well, I'm at 3 years on it now, and still
Not done?
They're never done.
We talked
Let's
to a
be
lot
honest.
of rat
Let's be
rod
honest.
owners, and they're never done. That's the beauty of these builds, is that they just, all the parts that are repurposed for these rat rods, I just find it so interesting.
I always like to go by the built, not bought.
What's your investment up to this point?
There's about 50 grand in parts.
Wow.
Yeah, as
Wow.
it sits.
But labor, I mean.
What's your time worth?
Exactly. What's your time worth?
That's right.
Well, keep working on it. It's beautiful as it is, and we
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see what else you're going to do with it. Keep us
Appreciate that.
Keep us informed.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Chelsea.
much, Corey.
Thank you.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.